Hello and welcome to the Hub Podcast. My name is Eric Berger, Director of Marketing for Better Good, the maker of VolunteerHub. Today, I have the privilege of speaking to Bree Tramontana, the Associate Director of Corporate and Community Engagement at Ronald McDonald House Charities of Tampa Bay. In this podcast, we'll learn more about Ronald McDonald House Charities, their mission, and how VolunteerHub has become instrumental to their program. Hey Bree, how are you today?
Doing good, thanks.
So, if you don't mind, I just kind of want to dive right in.
Yeah,
And I was just wondering, could you tell me more about Ronald McDonald House Charities of Tampa Bay, your mission and vision?
absolutely. So, for Ronald McDonald House Charities of Tampa Bay, our mission is to remove barriers of healthcare that families may have to overcome while their children receive life-saving treatment at our local area hospitals, because we envision a world where everyone has access to the healthcare that they need for the best possible outcomes for their children. And so barriers to healthcare can look like a lot of different things. And so what we do is we look at what resources we can provide to help remove those barriers. For us and most of our programs, it's going to be housing, a brick and mortar structure where families can live completely for free while their children receives care. But it can also look like other things for families that live in a radius that's very close to us, maybe within 30 minutes. It might look like supplemental services such as respite, access to co-work space, laundry services, meals, just coffee when they need it so that they don't have to go 30 minutes to go home to get those things and then come back again. Because when your child is receiving any sort of treatment, 30 minutes is still just too far for a parent to or caregiver to not be by their side. So that's what we envision, and that's what we provide at Ronald McDonald House.
So, I can imagine you're taking a lot of stress off of people's plate when they're already dealing with a tough situation.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the goal, is to ease whatever burden is kind of keeping them not with their child at that time. And so for us, we know that the best health outcomes happen when a family is with their child, because when a child is sick, it's not just that child, it affects the entire family. And we know that parents can't fill from an empty cup, they need a full cup. But to get there and get what they need, we need to be able to take all those other distractions off their plate.
And as the Associate Director of Corporate and Community Engagement, what does your typical day look like?
It's a variety of things. My role in the organization is one that straddles both the development and marketing side, so administration, as well as operations. My role really revolves around connecting people in our community with purpose, that purpose being Ronald McDonald House. And it can look like a lot of different things. It can be an individual, it can be a corporate group, it can be a community group, it can be students. I am connecting them with our mission and their interest in serving that mission. So it could be that I get up one morning and I start at one of our 5 houses across Tampa Bay to give a tour to a new corporate group that wants to provide a meal in our house. Or I'm going to be giving a tour to the Junior League because they have new provisionals group that needs to know about our mission and what we need from them on a day-to-day basis. I could be working with a community fundraiser to help raise funds and awareness because they can't come into the house to volunteer, but they still want to give back. And so each day definitely is different. I don't have 2 days that are the same, but all of them are very unique and also are unique opportunities to connect with our partners in the area. One of my biggest partners is McDonald's, of course. They're one of our biggest community partnerships that we have. And I say community partnership because McDonald's drives awareness and advocacy for our mission through their customers and the Roundup program that they have at every one of their stores. And so that Roundup program is really customer funds coming back to McDonald's House through McDonald's.
So every day is exciting for you, it sounds like. It's a new challenge that you're facing.
Yes.
When I was doing a little bit of research before our call, I saw that Ronald McDonald House Charities of Tampa Bay received 4 stars as far as charity navigator.
Mhm.
So kudos for that because that's exciting. It said that yeah, only 13% of charities
Mhm.
receive that, so that's pretty amazing.
Mhm.
So can you talk a little bit about that? Like what measurable impact has Ronald McDonald House Charities of Tampa Bay achieved?
Mm. We believe in service excellence. I mean, at the heart of what we do is our families. They're truly at the center of our care. And so the way that we provide or keep that excellence that you mentioned, that 4-star Charity Navigator rating, is because we are always keeping mission first, mission minded. And we do that by making sure that the things that we do, the actions we take, the companies we say yes to, the programs that we provide are all at the center of what our families need. What do the families need next? What's a way that we can anticipate a family need? And so we know that some of these measurables and outcomes reflect these decisions that we're making because, yes, our external partners are recognizing that in us. Again, the 4 stars that you saw on Charity Navigator, but also it's testimonials from families. Did we ease your burden? Did we provide what we said we were going to through our mission and our vision? Did you feel that support from us? And then it's also through the measurable actions of, do families continue to ask for our services? I can tell you that we have between an 85 and an 87% capacity rate at all times in all 5 of our houses. That is 91 bedrooms total. That means 85 to 87% of our houses are full at any given time. Now, that's just at an average, but there are absolutely days, weeks where we are at 100% capacity. If we were not providing the services that our families needed, that wouldn't be the case because they wouldn't be getting what they need from us. We know that they are because they continue to come back for our services and they ask for new things, more things that we need. We're lucky enough to have 45 years of longevity in this area and in this mission. And so we are also lucky enough to know and anticipate what some of these growing needs for our families are. We stay very close to our hospital partners to also anticipate what they're looking at, what challenges are they facing, what resources do they need, and what are they looking to bring specialty-wise to their hospitals so that we can also anticipate how that might affect our services.
So, with 91 rooms and such a high capacity and all the services that you guys provide, how important are volunteers in your mission?
I wish I could try and overstate it, but I can't. Our volunteers are paramount to what we do. We have 60 employees, both part-time and full-time, so it's a mix. And we cannot meet the needs of our mission across 5 locations without volunteers. We just simply don't have enough staff. We have 24/7 staffing across all of these locations, where generally only 1 to 2 staff members are at play at any given time. We have about 200 strong individual volunteers who take up positions inside of our houses at the desk reception, where they are the friendly face that our families see so that our staff can focus on all the other things that they're doing, right? They can focus on follow up with families, making sure that they get those programs where they need to be. And so our volunteers are the ones helping find the errant item that a family can't find, or give them a tour, or show their family around, or get them checked into a service that they need. So it is absolutely paramount. Prior to COVID, volunteers made up an additional 8 full-time employees for
Wow.
our chapter. I mean, again, it's truly one of those numbers where like we cannot overstate the importance of our volunteers. Since COVID, volunteering and interest in volunteering has changed a lot, and so we are trying to get back to that robust number of 8 full-time positions being kind of accommodated by volunteers. We're not quite there yet. We're at about 4 full-time positions right now, but still you can imagine with 4 additional, what's equivalent to 4 full-time additional employees is still so important, again, across these 5 locations.
Yeah, that's amazing. What's that correlate to as far as hours a week?
250 hours a week. I mean, we have about 125, 130,000 hours a year that our volunteers input into our system, and that's just, and it really, I mean, yes, it's individual, but also think about all the folks that are coming through our programs for meals. So we have our in-house programs for desk reception, for housewarmers, but we also have a lot of folks that just touch our mission through meals. And so that's going to be a much more episodic offering, something that doesn't need training. You just come in for a couple hours and you serve a meal to families. And so we do count those hours as well, because we could not provide meals to families like we do every day across 5 locations without groups coming in and serving those meals to our families. They provide all of the materials, we just provide the space. And each year, our numbers for meals are going up. We provided last year upwards of 50,000 individual meals to our families.
Wow. Yeah, and I think that's a great segue into managing volunteers.
Mhm.
So, can you talk a little bit about what challenges and inefficiencies you faced prior to Volunteer Hub?
Mhm. Yeah, so prior to Volunteer Hub, we were having inefficiencies specifically with groups, but also onboarding of our individual volunteers because with other systems, you have a challenge of an onboarding sort of workflow, and prior systems did not have these workflows. So someone might be taken in, we have to do everything via email or through a shared system or document system that we have internally, because the systems we were using previously didn't have any workflows and you paid per person that's in the system. So we couldn't gum it up with a bunch of folks that weren't going to end up coming through our trainings. We couldn't just have a holding cell for folks that we were considering. It had to be that this person is in, they're trained, they're ready to go, and now they're being scheduled. So we had to do so much other documentation and legwork before they even really got into the system. And it was a lot of duplication, a lot of uploading documents that we really didn't want in our system, and really just not efficient. And it makes it harder on the staff. They're trying to continue to make efficient processes. And so having workflows and holding areas and holding user groups where we can know that these people aren't ready yet, but they're in the pipeline to be ready, that has just been a game changer for us.
So, the value of Volunteer Hub as it relates to onboarding has been very valuable compared to
Very
other
significant.
solutions that you used prior to Volunteer Hub, it sounds like.
Very much, very significant to us, especially with those membership controls that we can easily manipulate, again, manually, but also through workflows. That's been fantastic. It has just also allowed more people to interact with the system, to see what we're seeing in our small department of volunteer services. Now we can include more of our employees, and hey, you can find this resource yourself. You can find this person's information yourself, without them not understanding the system because it's so user friendly.
We love to hear that the software is user friendly. Can you talk a little bit about your experience with our implementation training support teams?
Yeah, so on the Volunteer Hub side and just getting that training, it's been phenomenal. Matt and Jen are incredible, very thorough, really kind, and don't make our team feel dumb in any way, or incompetent for the things we don't know about the system. I think they do a great job of setting a baseline of language, which is so important so that we all know we're talking about the same thing. So I think they do a great job of setting us a baseline standard of what language are we going to be using, and then going back for these resources as well. So we did not feel like we were trying to figure it all out ourselves with a big database that we just simply don't have time to really put together right off the bat. And then we were given a lot of additional information regarding how to get our team onboarded. So it was a small group of us, the volunteer services team, that first started the implementation. And then we were very intentional. We had also asked Matt about how he thought we should kind of go from there. And he offered some great advice on like other Ronald McDonald House chapters and what they had done and who we could connect with, leveraging things like the Facebook group, leveraging the dashboard, leveraging the fact that you can Google so many things about Volunteer Hub and what you're looking for, and that information will just pop up instead of having to search through different queue systems and queries to find help. And when we did need that help, the information system, I mean, we would get a response from Jen sometimes within 10 minutes. And it was so, so helpful. And again, never coming at it from like a, why don't you understand this or why haven't you learned this yet? But from a space of like trying to help us get into processes and procedures that we were going to be able to replicate for our team. And then when I kind of reached out and was like, hey, some of our team are still really struggling with this, I'm kind of incapable of going further with the training, we were even offered additional help just so that we could get the entire team on board and kind of make sure we really wrapped up all the loose ends on any training pieces, because training across 5 locations with 60 employees who work 3 different shifts, some of them overnight, is incredibly difficult. And so the Volunteer Hub team was sympathetic to that and understood we were just trying to make do with what we had.
Yeah, the Facebook group has really taken off. It's been an amazing resource, client-facing resource. So I'm glad to hear that you mentioned it, because Jen and Matthew and a couple of other people on our team manage that, and I know they put a lot of work into it. And a good place where clients can talk and work through problems too, and then along with some experts from our team being in there, it's been really helpful, I think. So glad to hear you mention that. You talked a little bit about a staff adoption. How have volunteers adopted the system?
So our group volunteers have adopted it very well, our groups being specifically meal providers. And so that's been fantastic because we really rely on meal providers just scheduling themselves. We don't have the capacity staffing wise to be scheduling any groups. We really need them to take that on. And so having a forward facing calendar that accommodates that has been wonderful. And we've also already received testimonials from frequent users of our previous programs that said this program is so much better. They're so happy, we have this, that the communication is more consistent, and that also they're very excited about the capabilities of reporting and how we now can report on how many hours a corporate group is providing, how often they come. They really enjoyed that as well, and our staff enjoys that too. Individual volunteers have really enjoyed the new look that we have. It's much more fresh, much more user friendly, and they are also excited about the possibilities of tracking more of the work that they do. There were previously capabilities that we couldn't have in some of our systems, and so some of the hours that we logged just we weren't capable of recording, and so now we're able to record those systems.
You touched on this a little bit already, but if you could choose 3 or 4 features of Volunteer Hub that have been game changing for you and your program, what would those features be?
Yeah, so workflows being one of them. Workflows is an absolute game changer in the sense that, again, we can push people through the system without having to manage those back end administrative pieces. We can just set up a workflow and it will push them through the system as they achieve new memberships. And then it will have reminders and set abilities to be able to email user groups from Volunteer Hub. That as well is such an amazing feature. Many of the systems that you can use that are out there for volunteer software, it doesn't allow the ability to email groups unless it's like from their system, and most volunteers won't recognize the system. They'll think it's trash. They'll put it in their junk. And so being able to email, and it has my name attached to it as well as Volunteer Hub, but that is so great because now I can just hit a button. It can send it to an entire group. I don't need to run a report, select certain groups of people, disclude others. I just know that everyone it's pulling is accurate. I can email it directly from the system, and then I can see with a activity report who has gotten certain communications, who isn't getting certain communications, which is incredibly helpful as well. And then another feature that we love is the forward-facing calendars. We've never been able to have that either. So everything was an internal private link. And we really love the ability to be able to have forward-facing calendars that people can just use, and everything's in one spot. Our screening application connects to the back end of the system. There's nothing that comes out of the system has to be scanned, written on. All the waivers can be done in the system as well. That's so amazing for streamlining processes. And again, all that information lives in one spot. We don't need to go to another system, see if that person has a file attached to it. Do they have the waivers that we need? It's all just in one spot, which is, again, fantastic. And then all of the templates that we can save. Oh my goodness, not having to go and recreate like the same thing over and over and over again. Instead, we can create a template, we can edit that template, and then anyone can go in and see the information that we have, and it can be just on demand. So we love that feature as well.
And so, really stepping even farther back, if you look at Volunteer Hub as an investment, which it is, how do you assess its return on investment?
It is like any system where you get as much out of it as you choose to use. And so you've got to use the system. You have to commit to using it and commit to using all of it, because it's a phenomenal tool in general because it can do so much. It can do groups and individuals, which many volunteer systems cannot. You have to choose one. It's either going to do groups well or it's going to do individuals well. This can do both. But the return on investment, I mean, it's a part-time employee in and of itself. So the administrative work I was having one of our staff members or interns do, I no longer have to do that because this does the work of a part-time employee for us. And so the efficiencies it's created have been, I truly, again, can't overstate, how we were struggling with a 4-step onboarding process for volunteers and how we really couldn't track who was getting communications, where they were going, how we were really unable to make these processes more clear cut. And so now we just don't have that struggle anymore. We're able to put everything on our website, keep everything digital, and know that what we're saying will, they can't kind of come back and say, well, I didn't get this, I didn't get that. We can see what you're getting. We can make sure that you are getting the proper communication. And we can also, with certainty, know that anyone can send them there, not just the volunteer services team, but another volunteer can refer someone, another staff member or on vacation can also know that they're giving the proper information too.
I love that you're talking about the onboarding process because I think there's so many different variables that VolunteerHub helps with that. And I also love that the software has been so valuable in solving problems because that's what we're here for. So that's amazing. So to kind of wrap things up, I want to shift back to Ronald McDonald House of Tampa Bay. And I was wondering if you could describe how somebody can volunteer with your organization. What steps should they take?
Absolutely. So if anyone wants to volunteer with Ronald McDonald House, I think knowing that there are many options is the first point. Don't disclude yourself from joining our volunteer program just because you might have a specific interest or time frame or scheduling need. We have so many different opportunities, and that's just not for our chapter, but that is for really any Ronald McDonald House chapter. The best place to go is our website and check out how to get involved because we have no lack of options. And once you decide how you want to get involved, then it's really just using the systems that we already have at play on our website to plug in and either sign up for a meal, reach out to our volunteer services team with an inquiry regarding any scheduling needs you might have, and also use our screening application to just put out an application to see if you are a good fit for our individual commitments as well. So there's, again, no lack of ways to get involved, but our website is the perfect place to start.
All right, so if you're in Tampa Bay, make sure you go check out Ronald McDonald House Charities and see if there's a volunteer opportunity for you. And Bree, I just wanted to say thank you again for taking time out of your day to talk to me and provide your input about VolunteerHub. Thanks so much.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to toot your guys' horn.